She called the cops on me for stealing my own car. Yeah, you heard that right. My Saturday morning started with sirens blue and red lights and my neighbor Beverly screaming that my fully restored '67 Impala was hers. One minute I'm polishing chrome, feeling proud of 3 years' worth of busted knuckles late nights, and paycheck after paycheck poured into that car. The next, I'm watching a cop frown at my VIN plate like I'm some criminal mastermind. You ever had someone try to take away your life's work right in front of you in broad daylight? Let me tell you, it hits different. The blue-green metallic paint on my Impala was catching the sunrise just right, turning the whole driveway into a mirror. I was lost in that moment, running my cloth over the hood, already thinking about the weekend car show. And then here it comes, the siren on Maple Street. Lights flashing, neighbors peeking through curtains, and I knew right then somebody was fixing to tear down everything I'd built with my own hands. Officer Castellanos rolls up, lights still going, and Beverly's marching across the street, dragging her son Preston behind her like a prosecutor with her star witness. She's pointing at my car like it ran over her dog, her finger shaking, voice slicing the morning air. That's my stolen vehicle, officer. I've been looking for it for months. And Preston's there with that kicked puppy look he does so well, nodding along like they'd rehearsed this scene in front of the bathroom mirror. Now, Castellanos and we've exchanged plenty of waves before. He's not a bad guy, but you could see the confusion all over his face, trying to make sense of Beverly's story. He's circling the Impala, slow boots, tapping the concrete, checking every inch. Meanwhile, Beverly's ticking off every scratch and dent she remembers from before it was stolen. Never mind that she's describing a totally different car half the time. Preston jumps in about his deceased dad, how much that car meant to their family, how seeing it in my driveway is like a ghost showing up for breakfast. I'm standing there, microfiber cloth in hand, neighbors coming out in bathrobes, coffee mugs forgotten, while the officer's down on one knee, flashlight out, reading the VIN. And then he stands up, eyebrows knit together, looking at his notepad, looking at me. Ma'am, this VIN number does match a report under your name in the system. I swear I felt the ground tilt. Beverly's face lights up like Christmas Preston's, practically bouncing. See, I told you this man's a thief. Now she wants me arrested, wants her car back, wants everyone to know what a menace I've been living right under their noses. Let me back up a sec. I bought that Impala 3 years ago from Dale Morrison's salvage yard, rusted to hell, interior gone, engine missing, nothing but a tired old frame and a bill of sale for $800. I have receipts for every last bolt, 15 grand in parts DMV forms for the legal VIN replacement after the original was corroded beyond repair. I've got photos, inspections, the whole deal, done everything by the book. But none of that matters when the VIN on the dash, the one the DMV assigned me, somehow matches Beverly's old stolen car report. I swear the air turned heavy and my hands started to shake as I unlocked my garage and pulled out that thick folder. Every receipt, every document, laid it all out for Castellanos right on the hood of his cruiser. Beverly starts in about forged documents, how anyone can fake paperwork these days, dripping poison into the officer's ear as he flips through my mountain of proof. Still, the number stamped on my dash is the same one the police say belongs to her. The next thing I know, my Impala's getting loaded onto a flatbed. Beverly's smirking half the block watching, and Castellanos is handing me a business card. You'll want a lawyer. You know that feeling when you realize the whole system might be rigged against you. So a few hours later, I'm sitting in Rachel Whitmore's law office, still wearing grease-stained jeans, mind-spinning pride chewed up. Rachel's no-nonsense mid-40s eyes sharp as razor blades, listening to my whole story without a word. When I finish, she just leans back and says, "Tell me everything from the beginning." So I walk her through it. March 2020. Dale's salvage yard, that Impala sitting in weeds, $800 and a handshake. Months of cutting out rust welding and new metal, sourcing an engine out of Oklahoma frame rails, replaced and inspected DMV, assigning a new VIN after I documented everything. Rachel's jotting down notes, legal mind running circles around me. Then she stops, asks, "That new VIN, did it match Beverly's record?" And right there, the pit in my stomach grows deeper. We go through my restoration photos, hundreds of them. Me holding up damaged frame rails, the barely visible old VIN digits that don't match anything new, plates stamped per the DMV. But something isn't adding up. Rachel spots at first a detail in one of the old photos, the partial VIN on the corroded frame different from the DMV-issued number. She starts pulling up vehicle histories. And what do you know? The VIN on my dash was originally assigned to a '67 Impala shipped to a Robert Hutchinson, Beverly's late husband, in Los Angeles. She reported it stolen in 2019. But here's the twist. The VIN she reported stolen doesn't match the one on my car. Somewhere between her report and my DMV paperwork, the numbers got scrambled. Rachel sits back connecting the dots. This is either the wildest coincidence in automotive history, or somebody's been playing games with VINs and paperwork. Suddenly it's not just about a car, it's about fraud, conspiracy, and a whole lot of desperate people with something to hide. The next morning, a letter from the HOA, signed by Beverly as president, shows up taped to my door announcing an emergency meeting to discuss criminal activity. Neighbors I'd fixed cars for are now side-eyeing me at the mailbox, whispering as I pass. Somebody even slips a note under my door, "Thieves don't belong here." Thursday night, that HOA meeting feels like a public execution. Beverly, all fake concern. Preston milking the crowd, neighbors piling on about how strange I've always been. Rachel just shakes her head. Say nothing. Let her slip up. Next day, spray paint on my garage. Car thief. Orange traffic cones block my driveway. The isolation sets in, neighbors crossing the street, lost jobs, old friends gone cold. Then comes the city inspector, mysterious complaints about my business, zoning violations, threats of fines and closure. It's clear Beverly's playing for keeps, using every tool, every connection to grind me down until I break. But Rachel's digging, and what she uncovers is ugly. Beverly's done this before, used the HOA to force out people she didn't like. 2 families run off in the last 3 years. Same pattern? Anonymous complaints, social pressure, then they sell and disappear. The more we look, the clearer it gets. Beverly's running a long con, and Preston's got a rap sheet for insurance fraud. They're desperate for cash, buried in debt, and the only way out was to cook up another payout. And just the unlucky guy restoring the car that could unravel their whole scheme. When we finally corner Dale at the salvage yard, he remembers the car, remembers the guy who dropped it off. A Vincent Romano paid him to take it paperwork. All weird, never felt right. Rachel runs the name Romano's been in business with Preston, altering titles, swapping VINs, laundering cars for insurance scams. We go to his shop. He sweats bullets, tries to brush us off, but Rachel's already drafting subpoenas. It's like dominoes. Our private investigator uncovers Beverly's finances. She's flat broke, living off the payout from the stolen Impala, and Preston's been coordinating with Romano to create fake insurance claims. Their plan: hijack my restoration, pin theft on me, cash in again before the truth caught up. The courtroom is a circus, neighbors, news crews, the works. Beverly's lawyer paints her as a grieving widow, victim of a heartless thief, me. Rachel drops the hammer documents, photos, witness testimony, the works. Dale testifies about the car's arrival. Janet Briggs from the DMV backs up my paperwork, and then the big break. Vincent Romano on the stand, hands shaking, finally crumbling and asking for a lawyer when Rachel corners him on his role in the VIN switch. That's all it takes. Beverly's lawyer caves, withdraws, their claim judge rules. The Impala is mine, and Rachel hands over evidence to federal investigators right there in court. Turns out Beverly and Preston weren't just running a scam on me. They'd built an insurance fraud ring, manipulating titles and VINs for years. When the dust settles, the feds indict both of them. Romano turns state's evidence, and the trial is a full-on spectacle: recorded phone calls, financial records, the works. The jury convicts them on every count. Beverly gets 12 years. Preston gets 8 and a mountain of restitution. Neighbors who'd shunned me line up to apologize. The HOA holds a meeting to clear my name, and my phone starts ringing with business from folks who want to work with the guy who took on the HOA and the fraudsters and won. 6 months later, I'm back in my garage, dawn light on the Impala, the paint gleaming just like that morning when it all started. Rachel's there with a fat envelope, the civil settlement for everything I lost. It won't make you whole, she says, but it proves you fought the good fight and won. A new kid named Marcus shows up, asks if I'll teach him how to fix cars. I hand him a rag, show him the engine, and tell him the first rule: always keep your paperwork straight and never let anyone tell you that you can't prove who you are. So that's my story. Sometimes the only thing standing between you and a mob is the truth, documented and relentless. Sometimes the justice system works if you don't give up. And sometimes the worst neighbors make the best cautionary tales. Now I'm curious, if you'd been in my shoes, what would you have done differently? Ever had your own Beverly in the neighborhood? Drop a comment, share your story, and let's talk about what justice really means when the whole world seems set against you. If you believe in standing your ground, hit subscribe, because sometimes proof is all you've got.